If you feel stuck, scattered, or like you're drifting even right now, it's not because you're broken. It's because no one is leading you. And if I'm being honest, neither are you. Most divorced dads, they'll say, I don't know what to do, or I feel lost, or I just need clarity. The truth of it is that lost is emotional language and unled is the real condition. So divorce didn't remove your purpose. Divorce removed a lot of your structure. And many of you didn't have any structure at all. Structure is what men run on. Systems and strategy is what is needed to get you to where you want to go. Before we go any further, man, if this podcast has helped you once, hit subscribe, leave a quick review. That's how this reaches the dads who are silently drowning. And again, our mission, transforming 1 million dads, rebuilding their life and the next generation, that your kids are impacted because of the decisions you're making right now, even this. So let me give you some neuroscience. Happy New Year. It's January. It's 2026. It's time to go. I believe that this is the big fix, 2026. The male brain, you got to know in the brain of what's happening here with what's going on. Your male brain is goal directed. It's not emotionally directed, which is good. But when there's no clear target, the brain defaults to what you probably experience: rumination, dopamine seeking, nostalgia loops, numbing behaviors. I don't know about you, but those things happen frequently to me. They'll come, they'll knock on my door. Hey, here I am. Remember this time when we were doing this with the kids, or remember we went here, or remember this present, or a lot of that nostalgia, a lot of that rumination. You got to understand that the decision-making part of your brain, it weakens when there's uncertainty. So when leadership is absent, you got to get this, the amygdala takes over when it's absent. So that's why men feel they're anxious, reactive, foggy, exhausted without doing much. I was just on a call with a dad just today. Exactly all of those things. Super high performer, great business, smart individual, drowning in indecision, drowning with the lack of structure, systems, and goals. And so he's constantly putting out these little fires. And not to say you don't need to put those out, but you got to understand which ones are most necessary and which ones are going to lead you into the direction you need to go. Because if I'm playing defense against you, or if I'm playing defense against, say, Michael Jordan or Steph Curry, I want to wear those guys out. Because if I can wear them out, they're not going to perform at the level that they need to perform. They're going to be tired. They're going to be fatigued. The same thing applies to you in your mind and in your physical bodies. I sit with clients even now where that is the sole goal of our movement forward, is their mental state. Getting the stuff out that doesn't need to be in there, the baggage, the rumination, the things that aren't there. They're killing you, they're drowning you, they're disrupting you, and they will constantly own your life until you have a very clear, specific path forward. Here's another thought and idea about how you think about things. So there's a belief that's killing dads, and it sounds like this: I need to feel better before I can lead myself. When I feel better, then I'll do better. Let me give you the correct ideal about what this is. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. Leadership precedes confidence. Waiting to feel ready is emotional superstition. Man, I wish I was always ready before the things that I started. And I think you and I can both agree that if we're honest with ourselves and we look back at the things that we did, and maybe the business things, or maybe when you first got kids, or maybe when you got married, that you didn't have it all together. And I think what happens is that when you get some failures, you get some mess ups, you're in the valleys, you start to make sure that everything is perfect before you move forward. And that's never the case. So the new belief to install is, I don't need certainty, I need direction. That's simply put, I don't need certainty, I need direction. Nothing is guaranteed. However, if you keep doing the same thing you're doing, that is guaranteed to get you the same results. We know that. Proverbs in the scripture says it like this: where there's no vision, the people cast off restraint. What I love about this verse so much is that word restraint is actually discipline. So when there's no vision, there's no discipline. And you can understand this when we break it down for yourself, is when you don't have a clear goal, you will be distracted, you will lack discipline and go in a million different directions. Chasing a bunch of different things or going up and down with your feelings. So casting off restraint, it's not rebellion, it's a drift that's happening. It means wasted strength. It's lacking this discipline. So in Corinthians, it then goes on to say, be watchful, stand firm in faith, and act like men. Be strong. So what this is essentially saying to us is watchfulness is awareness, standing firm is leadership, and acting like men is the responsibility before comfort. And I know you guys, I know we want comfort, but we also know that comfort is a killer. I want to give you a little bit of what this whole idea looks like through our FAST system. And if you haven't jumped into our Skool group, jump into the community and start building your life now. It's literally that simple. You don't have to do anything. There's no pitch. There's no nothing. Just, I want to give you tools. I never want somebody to say, I couldn't get in. It was too hard. No, get in, start doing the work. This is what it looks like in the FAST system. Focus is F, focus and faith. If you don't choose a future, your past will keep choosing it for you. Here's a question to ask yourself. What am I building in the next 90 days? Not fixing. What are you building? Not fixing. What's bigger? What's out there? And again, these tools are in there because I take you through a systematic approach to first get a lot of this baggage out of your mind. Then you can begin to say, okay, how can I dream again? And there's even a scripture in Psalms that says that they would be able to dream again. And that's what I want for you, especially in this new year. Faith is a huge component of that. Knowing what is your identity? What does faith in your identity look like? The accountability and the awareness side looks like this. Lone wolves don't lead, they isolate. And leadership requires witnesses, not spectators. Look, guys, I don't want just you transformed. I want you leading your kids, yes, but I also want dads leading other dads. I want you having a group, a community, a place where a few guys were saying, hey, let me show you what this can look like. And that also will accelerate your growth and your progress. Strategy and systems look like this. Drift is untracked behavior. What you don't measure, you cannot manage. It's that simple. Builders track inputs, not emotions. So when we just focus on our feelings, how are we feeling, and what does this feel like and sound like? You know what you need is a system. Your feeling is going to change based on your last meal. Shoot. It's going to change on potentially what other people are saying about you. Now, we don't want to give them control of how we feel, so we need to have systems in place for that. When this thought comes, how am I supposed to behave? What does that thought really mean? Right? Getting down to the core of that thought. Why does that thought bother you? Right? Why does that person bother you? So understanding that you are the master of your emotions. You're the master of your mind. You get to decide. Nobody else. And that alone is one of the most powerful things that you can learn for yourself and for your children. Nobody should control how you feel. And nobody should be able to do something to you to control how you feel. People talk about triggers. Well, don't let them trigger you. Why are they triggered? Why are you allowing that to happen? Why? Because you don't have a clear, specific goal about where you're going. And you haven't clearly defined what that actually means, that thought or that trigger or that time or that emotion. Sure, did it mean something at one time? Well, we need to change the meaning of it. We got to change the story of it. It's no longer holding you down. It's actually going to be the fuel that brings you into your future. So there's a quick tool here, positive psychology, that I love. It's called the authority reset exercise. A couple minutes, super simple. It goes like this. I want you to write one sentence for the next 30 days, just 30 days. One sentence. I am the man who blank. Then I want you to choose one behavior that proves it. And then I want you to remove one habit that contradicts it. One sentence that says, I am the man who blank. One daily behavior that proves it. One habit that contradicts it. That's leadership. That's motivation, not hype. We want to see action, right? And a picture that could help this is something like this. A ship at sea, it doesn't sink because of the storm. It sinks because no one is steering it. You don't need calmer waters. You need a hand on the wheel. The storms are going to come. We have to navigate through the storm. not hoping the storm stops. No, get through the storm, grow through the storm. So I'm going to leave you that there. I'm going to give you 3 questions to take into your day, and they'll be in the show notes. Again, if you haven't jumped into Skool, jump in. If you're not following us on Divorced Dads of America on Instagram, follow us. Every single day, there's something that's going to change your life. Here's some questions for you that you can take away in the day or the week, whatever it looks like for you. 1, where in my life am I waiting to feel ready instead of deciding? Oof. If there's fear that you feel about a decision, fear is one of the greatest signposts of the direction you need to go. I had a call the other day with a guy, and he started telling me all these things. And I said, well, what are you afraid of? And he listed a bunch of things he was afraid of. And I said, well, I think you and I both know that when fear appears, that's usually the door you need to walk through. And he chuckled. He said, yeah, that's exactly what I need to do. And it's always easier to hear somebody else's story, right? Because your fear is so real and it's so big and it feels so powerful. But I really want to challenge you, put courage in you. Identify that fear and walk through it. Number 2, what structure did divorce remove that I'd ever rebuilt? What structure was it? Some guys it's physically, some guys it's mentally, some never had structure. And so now you're like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I put this together? You're watching all these YouTube videos to figure it out. Which one works? Which one doesn't? Look, the Skool group has them all, man. Simplify the journey. Don't add more things if you haven't done the ones before, right? You don't need more information. You need action on the information. So just keep it simple. Number 3, if my kids watch my last 30 days on replay, what would they learn? And this is big because your children don't learn from what you say. They learn from what you do. And it can be the tone. It can be the margin for grace and compassion and mercy. It could be how you show up, your presence, right? It could be how you pray. There's been times more recently where my kids are older now and I want them to see me pray and I want them to see me worship. I want them to see the house the way that it is when they're not there, which is very soft, beautiful music, classical or piano or hymns that I play. Why? I want the house in peace. I want them to know that this is a place of prayer. This is a place that they can see it. They don't just hear about it. So I'll pause there because I don't want to overwhelm you guys here today. If this is hitting, listen, if this is hitting, just drop a like, drop a sub, drop a share with one dad who's drifting and come back. Look, every time you just drop a sub, it literally finds more dads like you. It's that simple. If you want to help another dad, just sub, leave a review. More dads are going to find it because of that. So I want to say thank you for all of that. Happy New Year. I'll see you on the next one. God bless you.